The Parable of the Orchard. There once was a good-hearted landowner. Early one morning, as he looked toward the east, beyond his lands, his awareness was lifted and he thought about the landscape, its vastness, and the apparent lack of abundance so prevalent beyond his borders. As he looked at all that was his, and then again into the sparseness in the distance, his thoughts turned inward. There he envisioned lush orchards with ripened fruit in endless fields that were his to care for and share. Under blue skies and sunshine, the landowner felt joyful warmth at all he saw in this vision. He felt a new energy for a new time, and he knew there was work to be done. Being wise and prudent, the landowner sought counsel among his closest family and most trusted friends concerning his vision, saying, "Everybody loves apples. Apples are used for everything all the time because they're so versatile. We've worked with many types of apples for many years, and together we know just about everything there is to know about them. I've got a rather simple vision to share with you for creating apple orchards that will produce a bountiful harvest of apples for ourselves and for those that will join our effort, and I would like you to help me make this a reality." So the landowner explained his vision of orchards, of inviting ethical workers, and of apples, lots and lots of apples. His friends and family liked the idea very much and agreed that planting an orchard would be good for the family and good for the workers. So the landowner set out to find the right kinds of seeds. After several weeks, he and those that were helping decided to use a type of seed called the Ashmead's kernel, a type of apple that they all knew and loved. It was a type developed in the United Kingdom. It was very juicy, would grow very well under their care, and would provide a bountiful harvest for generations. For these reasons, and because they too sought to develop their own fruit as a way to lift others to a united kingdom, that seed was the most highly favored. And so it was. The landowner, with help from friends and family, removed rocks and stumps from the fields, prepared the soil to receive the seed, and seeded the field in season. As the weeks passed, the orchard of Ashmead apples, becoming known as the Ashmead Orchard, later known simply as Ash's Orchard, took gloriously to root in the middle of a vast land. It was not a large orchard, but the landowner knew when mature it would provide abundantly for those that were working in the fields. The landowner knew of abundance, and he was wise in the ways of sowing and reaping. He knew it could take many seasons for the orchard to yield mature fruit and knew it required continuous care, so he sought help from local workers to care for Ash's orchard. He said to the workers, "I, along with a few trusted friends and family members, have agreed to this good work to provide abundance at harvest for those that join with us, because I have seen there is nothing like it in the land. I am your friend and speak to you now as friends, saying, I, with my own trusted friends and family members, will provide the resources for this good work. But we ask that you give a few apples only to show your willingness that we may use later while we wait for harvest. Also, please invite other workers as you see fit, who are also ethical in their practices and moral in their judgments." And so it was. The character of the work and the workers was agreed upon and became established. And as the workers came in, they brought with them some apples, and all of the apples which were brought with them were put into a tower for storage. And because the landowner lived in abundance and lacked for nothing, he provided safety for the apples. He also generously provided space in the fields surrounding Ash's orchard, and, along with his trusted friends and family members, seeded a couple more orchards, and the workers invited yet more workers. Because Ash's orchard was young, the workers needed were few. As more workers joined in the good work, still more orchards were seeded so that Ash's orchard became the largest in the land. And because the landowner himself was in abundance, he decreed the apples harvested from the whole of Ash's orchard be generously shared with all the workers and the workers' workers, even unto generations. For he had determined in his heart that was the purpose for which the ash orchard had been conceived and planted. And as still more workers came, each bringing with them a few apples, the apples went into the storage tower for safekeeping, such that the number of apples in the tower became very great. As time passed, because Ash's orchard was rooted in fertile ground and had excellent care, it grew much faster than expected. The unexpected growth caused the need for the thinning of some of the trees in the orchard to make sure of a ripe and robust harvest. For the landowner knew if this was not done, the fruit would be underdeveloped and tasteless. So the landowner, with friends, family, and selected workers, started carefully thinning the trees. Shortly thereafter, some of the trees started to show signs of disease and so were removed. This allowed the light in, allowed space for others to branch out, and improved the overall health of the orchard. In seeing this was good, the landowner also sought to create a protective hedge around Ash's orchard, so he requested that a few of the workers provide good counsel to other workers concerning the growth and health of Ash's orchard. In time, the trees grew stronger, and the orchard filled up with blooms of a promising harvest. Soon, the word of Ash's orchard had spread far and wide. When the workers shared with others how fertile the fields were, how abundant the harvest was expected to be, and how the wisely benevolent landowner was generously partial toward the fields and its workers, many others joined the good work, and their feelings too were lifted, and their good thoughts came with greater frequency. And the landowner continued to welcome them equally as they came to help, and many others began helping the workers so that they all helped each other. As others nearby heard the workers talk about the greatness of the expected harvest, a great many of them responded to invitations from other workers and joined the effort. Some joined because of the workers' joy. Others joined because they needed apples or because they thought they might miss out on a good way to get lots of apples. But still others joined because they believed in the landowner's vision to bring abundance and prosperity to a united kingdom. So that was the way of it. A great orchard, consisting of many orchards, that produced a continuing harvest of apples sufficient to raise the abundance of a people in a kingdom united. But not all of the workers felt that way. Some workers lived in migratory communities and decided to leave the work and the orchard. Others were confused about what the landowner was trying to do, and likewise they left the work and the orchard. Still others had hoped for apples out of season and didn't want to tend the orchard until harvest, and they also decided to leave. But the landowner knew them and so did not judge them harshly. Rather, he restored each to their previous status, kissed their foreheads, and bade them farewell, then continued to care for the orchard and its workers because that was his passion. The landowner enjoyed watching the work and the workers. His heart was full and joyful as he marveled at the work that was done, at the creativity and the commitment of all. Seeing the workers with teams of yet more and more workers, the landowner returned once again to his close friends and family, saying, "We have many more workers than originally needed or expected, and there are more coming to the orchard every day to help with the work and growing in the orchard and preparing for the harvest. Because of this, and because these workers are now known to me and I have pledged for their abundance, we should plant still more orchards and connect them together by pathways so they can be easily traversed, easily tended, and managed. But I am in need of your help for this thing which I intend to do, which is to clear and make ready fields beyond the orchard for planting, and to seed them with a great variety of apples, so, through the work of those toiling in the orchards, and for all who will come later into the orchards, there will be provided a great value and a benefit that will be mutual to all." And the benevolent landowner's friends and family, because they loved and trusted the landowner, all agreed that more orchards would be planted for the sake of the workers and for the sake of those that would come afterward and for their friends and family. Immediately the landowner obtained resources, decided the types of trees to plant, and readied the fields. So many more orchards, each with different types of trees that yielded different types of apples, were planted in the space beyond Ash's orchards to the north, the east, the south, and the west. And all the orchards were connected by pathways, and resources were brought in to automate the work done in the orchards. The landowner loved all that was created, so that his heart was in the midst of the work and the workers. So too the workers loved him. And even as Ash's orchard grew in greatness in those lands, and were greatly multiplied, so the number of workers in Ash's orchards were the greatest number of any orchard in the kingdom. And so it was that Ash's orchard became the most widely spread, wonderfully connected orchard in that entire kingdom. To this very day, Ash's orchards flourish. Its workers continue their good work, with many others joining that work daily. And the harvest season approaches as a blessing to and from the landowner, a gift for his family and all the workers, to compassionately lift them and their communities, even unto the end of the kingdom, into freedom and abundance for generations. And so it is.